Happy afternoon. Welcome to the Inspiring Coffee Talk. For this episode, we have Kim. I'm so
Hello.
glad to have you. And before we start the session, let me introduce Kim to you first. Okay, so Kim, she is a senior legal consultant for family and legacy planning. With her passion as a life transformation strategist and in line with her profession and company Heritage Wills International's vision to ensure leaving a great legacy for individual, family, and business. Kim engages women to empower them as an individual, wife, mother, daughter, business, or professional person. Calling on her own 28 years of her marital mistakes, she delights in sharing her life stories along with the practical tools to help the marriage thrive so that the family's legacy is one of the harmony, peace, and happiness, effectively nurturing the future generations. She has two beloved sons, aged 23 and also 15.
Right.
Welcome, Kim.
Yes. Thank you for having me, Joyce. A very good afternoon to everyone out there. Welcome to Joy's Coffee Talk. And I'd just like to say that I've got my coffee here.
Yeah,
So if
I
you
got
haven't
my
got
phone
your
here.
coffee, go get your coffee so that we can
Yes.
have a coffee talk. And for the Penangai, a kopitiam chat, right?
Yeah. So let's go. Kim, we know about each other. I believe is more closely is last year. I
Yes.
remember it's last year.
Yes. And believe it or not, Joyce, I think I've not met you in person. Oh, we must get together in person when we're able to. Yeah, we're living in the North and South Pole, right? Of Penang.
Then
Mm.
because of COVID, we really don't sit down face to face. Most of the time we meet up online, even though it's we are using everything like Zoom online, but I really cherish our friendship, Kim, because especially last month, I've been very down because of a lot of family challenges.
Right.
And thank you so much for your support. And I
Oh,
can
it's
feel so much of your love, your concern to me, and all your messages and your hearts. Thank you.
I'm most privileged to do so, Joyce, because when you write about your family and your passions, and I could almost feel that you're going through a hard time because you're trying to juggle that. And I believe today, for the women out there, for the many women friends and ladies out there, as women, we have so many roles to play and so much on our plate, juggling, just like Joyce here. And Joyce is still a swinging single. She's in a relationship, I believe. But for those of us who are married, I think we have even more roles to play.
Yeah.
So, and because of that, I do feel for Joyce when she's going through something. And as she invited me for this coffee talk, I said to Joyce that I'm no authority on marriage, please. I'm doing this just to share and to give my 2 cents out there as part of a coffee inspiring talk so that we can be on a journey together in this life to encourage one another. I
Mm.
do believe that we are put here on a journey by our God. I'm a Christian, so I believe in the Lord Jesus. For those of you who are in other faith, whatever faith that you are in and believe, your creator, yeah, the higher being that created you. I believe that each of us have our destiny predestined and carved out for us. So thank you for this, Joyce. I'm most privileged to, encourage you as you also encourage me in my walk and journey.
Yes. Together is always better, right?
Yeah, two is better than one.
Yes, definitely.
And three
Okay.
is formidable.
So let's start with this. Just now, as I mentioned in the introduction,
Yes,
is 28 years of your marriage is
that's
like
right.
almost 3 decades.
That's
You
right.
know?
2 more years to the third decade. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm very curious to know about your beliefs and also your values about in this marriage institution. And what are the like strong pillar that is like hold and support a marriage? Can you share with us?
Sure. Well, I can hardly believe myself when I celebrated my 25th anniversary. And we did go back to the E&O Hotel where we got married. When E&O was a very old rundown hotel, we got married there. And today is a 5-star or 6-star hotel. So I did say to my husband, no need to spend a lot of money. Let's just go and have a drink there, and then, walk by the gardens where we took the photo previously during my engagement. And then I said, let's just, and he bought me a bouquet. Next time we will show an image, Joyce. We will share the image to our viewers so they have a better perspective. So my husband and I went back to E&O, the hotel that we got married in, and then we took the same picture that we took on our wedding day in the gardens. And of course, 25 years later, we look so different. Yeah. So that was a rather enjoyable experience. And 28, 3 years later after that, I can hardly believe it. And I would say, in answer to your question, that the pillars of a marriage is communication on a lot of aspects in the marriage or relationship. I believe very importantly is finance. Finance communication is super important because I don't know about you. Even though I started off my career as a lawyer, I had a father that was a businessman, and my brother is also in a similar business. And they were very strong men in a marriage in my life. And when I got married, I always thought that the financial aspect will be handled by the man in my life. So I don't know whether there is a misconception, because I was brought up that way with two very strong men in my life. And when I got married to my husband, and he's 9 years my senior, Joyce, my husband is 9 years older than me, I thought that I could leave everything to him and just close my eyes, not know anything. And I think that was a mistake, because when we go into a marriage, the pillars is strongly on communication, and we need to communicate. And I also fervently don't believe in the Chinese way of doing things, where what I hear is that a mother will tell the daughter, oh, your money is your money, and his money is also your money, and it's like, you make sure, that you keep all your money for yourself, because you don't know whether one day you will need it. So you cannot depend only on your husband. You need to depend on your own savings. I deep down never believe in that. Although some of my girlfriends may say I'm stupid to not believe in that, but I submit to God instead. And in my mind, when you have a strong pillar of communication and openness, even on the very important topic of finance, it will actually help you to be united. I believe in the fact that I have certain strengths that God put me to be with my husband, and my husband has got certain strengths that he is put to be with me. So what I believe is that someone higher than me, a superior being, which is God, my God, actually put us together to complement each other so that we will be better. And when we both submit to a higher being, which is our God, what we say as Christians is that a threefold cord is not easily broken. What is a threefold cord? When you braid your hair, Joyce, you have long hair, so you know what I'm talking about. When you braid your hair, you split your hair into three, right? You split your hair into three to braid the hair. So you think of it as a cord or a rope. So when you braid a rope with three, so that means God is the first strand. My husband is the second strand, and I'm the third strand. And when we braid the three together, and the hair comes out like a braid or like a rope, it is hard to break. And I think mountain climbers and all that, rock climber and all that, they will use this kind of rope so that they won't fall, because it's not easily to be cut as well. Yeah. So that is that's my belief, my personal belief about what is important in a marriage. And it's not only communicating on finance, but communicating on, say, for those who are out there raising children, communicating on how to raise the children, and communicating on what are the daily tasks that each of us have to do. Because, Joyce, today we are in a postmodern society. Women are also out there earning a living just like men. And we have gone past the day where the women is having an apron around her waist, a tiny waist. Last time the women wear
Yeah.
very nice
Apron.
skirts,
Mm.
polka dot now, or then and then with a nice apron tied around her string, and then she's busy cooking, and then the husband come back, and then she say, "Oh dear, you're back," and then the children are also lovely, and she's just waiting to please her husband. Yeah. And that is the woman of maybe 20 or 30 years ago. Okay. Forgive me if I get the date wrong, but I'm just, making an example. And in those times, I think the roles were different.
Mm.
I read in John Gray's book. John Gray is a very famous writer on Beyond Mars. The difference between men and women, Mars and Venus, right?
Yeah.
And I'm also reading his current book, Beyond Mars and Venus.
Mm.
And he also writes on this, that today we are in a different era where the roles are so different.
Mm.
So another pillar I will add, Joyce, is that we have to settle into our roles. And I believe today, in some marriages, the women could be the one earning, sometimes earning solely
Mm.
or earning more than the men.
Mm.
And I think this is an issue that is hard to deal with. So it is a reversal of role for some marriages, and this need to be sorted out. I believe strongly. Otherwise, there will be resentment, and the communication will become stagnant, and then it ends up with fights and whatever we don't want. Yeah, which is sad. So that's a mouthful, Joyce, for you. You got more than
Yeah.
you bargained for.
Yes, because when you talk about communication, I found that a lot of people, like what you say, is like we both party they come together in a marriage.
Yeah,
We got to discuss first, right? Talk
right.
about how we're going to raise our children when they what school that you want to send, and then what are the role of ourselves in the family. And I found
Yeah.
that a lot of couple that come together before the marriage, they don't actually discuss about all these things. They feel like the love is everything, and then they jump into the marriage without discussion, without the
Mm.
communication as the fundamental. That caused a lot of next problem that coming out, the challenge that come out the next time. So that's why love alone is not enough. I remember you say that.
That's right. I wish it was enough. I wish I can live on love and fresh air. It's not
Yeah,
enough. Yeah, it's not enough. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
28
And
years
mm,
is not short one, it's long one. So it's like how you and your husband evolve, because it's like a time that when you start your relationship and then you're married, then you start to have your kids. The time before you have a kids, then you have a kid, and then until right now, it's like there's stages. How both of you evolve, and how would I say, come together in your relationship?
okay. Well, I also read this somewhere, and the title was The Science of Marriage. And being someone that actually, for some of my classmates out there, I actually, instead of going into the science stream, I knew that I wanted to go into law. So I went into the art stream. So for me, science is not my strong point. But when I saw this title somewhere, that the science of marriage and relationship,
Mm.
it's very interesting. It sounds very interesting, right, Joyce? So
Yes.
what I found in this particular article was that there are four stages of a marital relationship.
Mm.
First, we fall in love. How nice. I wish I can go back to that. I believe that is your stage now, Joyce. I so envy you.
Romantic.
Romantic, yeah.
Very
It's
romantic.
the romantic love,
Mm.
where the love is in the air, and you listen to romantic love songs, you go dating, you can't wait to go out with the person, you can't wait to spend time with the person. And then, you can stay up awake at all hours to talk to each other. And, I think I don't have to say anything more. When romance is in the air, you forgive a multitude of sins and wrongs. You
Mm.
see no wrong at all in the person. That person is the best thing that came along in your life. He or she, walks on air, and you worship the ground that he or she walked on. correct, Joyce? You're still in that worshipping stage, are
I
you?
believe my boyfriend is watching the Facebook Live right now.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Like,
you can ask him for feedback. That's great. Okay, good,
mm,
good. So, in that stage, everything is fine and dandy. Everything is so beautiful. And I think being human, we all long to be in that stage. Of
mm,
course, as long as possible. And I believe when I got my first flower from my husband, it makes your heart tingle, and then you get all kinds of sensation, and then you cannot sleep thinking about the person. Yeah, Joyce, you have
yes.
sleepless nights or not? Yeah, confess. It's good for it's good for the soul. Since your boyfriend is listening,
A
it's good to
very
confess.
in the way of in relationship, yes,
Right.
my boyfriend is there to listen. It's like I'm a very realistic person. Yeah. So
Okay.
romance is great. I love that, but it's come
Mm-hmm.
back to the very practical and realistic world because
Okay.
I personally I really need a lot of mental support, support in
Okay.
terms of a very good mental support like a soulmate to me. So romance is great. Yes, every one of us will love romance. So
Yeah.
it's also the way that we keep the relationship sparkling, right? It's
Yes.
later I have a question to ask you about that.
Sure. Sure.
So
Okay. I would also just deviate a little bit to talk about the fact that you have a different idea of feeling love. According to Gary Chapman's book, this author, Gary Chapman, he wrote about the love languages that we all have. So I think your love language is practical. You like acts of service. So you want support. You're not so much the mushy, lovey-dovey type of love that you go for. So you feel the most love when you're supported, as you just said, mentally. You want the mental stimulation, you want the encouragement. I think where you're coming from is a lot of postmodern women today feels that they want that kind of mental support, that what they want to do, what they want to engage in,
mm,
it's important.
yeah.
And I also at this juncture want to honor my husband. Every time I'm doing something like that, okay, online and in my little home office here, yeah, I'm in my home office at home. uh, he will be outside and he will be making sure that when the doorbell rings or there is any disruption, he will attend to it. So that is actually my husband's love language. His love language is acts of service. So he's super strong on that to support me because it's easy for him to do his acts of service. That's his love language. But
Mm,
actually, my love language is the mushy love and romance. That's what I love. Yeah.
yeah.
Although my profession, being a legal profession, is more serious, but
Mm,
surprisingly, I am of the other love language. Yeah. So I also love gifts and I love touch and love and affection. So that's
mm,
how we are different. Yeah. I think a lot of women, maybe some women share the same love language as me. Yeah. So now to share on the second stage of the signs of love and marriage. The
mm.
second stage is, well, we are up there flying around in cloud nine, having the best time of our life, feeling like we are so in love and loved. One day, what goes up must come down, right? Not Joyce.
Mm.
So there is the stage of disillusionment.
This
Disillusionment is when the husband, the hero that you worship previously in the romance stage, suddenly shows you that he's got flaws. That means you start to see, hey, how come after he drink coffee, he never wash the cup? He just left it on the coffee table. What does he think I am? Am I the maid? Huh? You know? So that's the disillusionment stage where maybe the husband comes home and instead of burying himself in a newspaper, like in our grandfather's time, it's only newspaper, right? He will be always on his phone.
mm,
And I think that is another social thing. Today, a lot of people are on their phone all the time.
yeah.
And being on the phone, being in social media or WhatsApp and all the other communication, actually robs the communication time. Because previously, when we meet for a meal, we actually have no choice but to talk to each other. But today, we can distract ourselves with something else, the phone.
Mhm.
And I think that is something that we need to maybe perhaps uh, think of setting aside or guarding the time that you have with your loved one by putting away phones. Yeah. Even the children in the dinner table, Joyce, I think one day we chatted about this before. I
Yes.
saw a family of four, and all four of them are on the phone. The father, the mother, the daughter, the son, all on the phone. And then I pointed out to my son, I said, you see, there is a breakdown in communication.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's just to say that without that openness of sharing and time made available for sharing, it is hard. Now I come back to the second stage I said about disillusionment.
Mm.
Disillusionment is where it's the stage, probably according to the science article. It's
Mm.
usually after the honeymoon is over, people say maybe in the first 2 or 3 years of marriage, where you start to see that the perfect person that you marry is imperfect. And that's when reality sets in. And in actual fact, if the marriage goes on to the fifth or sixth or seventh year, that is the common time when a lot of people actually breaks off,
Mm.
because it's the time where they cannot get past the disillusionment, and it's like, this is not the person that I married, or this is not the person that I want to be with forever, and therefore I want to find someone new, not knowing that actually when you go into another relationship, you actually go through the same cycle again, the
Mm.
romance, and then after that you also go through the disillusionment.
Yeah.
There's no perfect guy or lady, there's no perfect husband or perfect wife out there. We are all humans. Human have flaws. Human have their own attitude sometimes, or issues, or habits, or negative points and positive points. So the trick, I believe, is to go past that 5 or 7 years, time frame, where you actually go into a kind of a, what the article talks about is a power struggle.
Mm.
Power struggle is where the man has got their own hormones compared to us women. Okay. And today, for myself, I think I can speak on behalf of all us ladies. We have our monthly cycle. Yeah, I stopped having that 2 years ago. I'm already menopause. And it's a wonderful feeling going through the big change of life, but it's also full of challenges because the hormonal cycle is entirely different. So when my family couldn't understand me in my monthly cycle, Joyce, you can be sure they don't understand me now in my menopausal state.
Mm.
They find it hard to understand me because we go into moods as well, and we go into a lot of struggles with our identity.
Mm.
Like, we're in midlife. I'm in my early 50s, and what's next? I have raised two sons, one 23 and one 15. So what's next? What's next in store for me? Do I go downhill from here? Because a lot of jokes have been created about women's body going downhill.
No,
Where
I
we are
feel
not
like
as
we are
strong as
actually more energetic.
all the anti-aging products out there is aimed at menopausal women like me. Yeah. And promising the fountain of youth. Yeah, it's not easy. So coming back to the power struggle. Power struggle is something that every couple go through, where they are actually trying to find their role. They're actually trying to find what being in a marriage is all about.
Mm.
And it is also the crazy time when they have young children. And I think you agree with me, Joyce. I think, young children is not easy. But
Yes.
you know what, mothers and fathers out there, I want to say to you,
Mm.
I struggle when I had my young son because my eldest was asthmatic, and I used to he used to be hospitalized. My eldest son used to be hospitalized like 3 or 4 times or 5 times a year. And sometimes I had to take care of him in the hospital and then go for a court case after that, when I was actively doing court work. So we did ask the hospital, why not allow my husband to stay with the son? They didn't allow it. So the hospital had like old-fashioned rules. The mother had to be the one staying in the hospital room with the children, and the mother has to be the one. And I think there was one situation where my husband really was he knew that I couldn't go through that anymore, because the court cases that I was doing was very heavy on me. And then he actually oh God, it was so good. He gave we were able to stay in a 2-bedded room, and then in that 2-bedded it happened to be someone that my husband know. Then we asked permission. We said, is it okay that my husband stay with my son that night? Yeah, because the other bed will be a mother.
Yeah.
See, so unless you know them, you say, is it okay or not? You don't mind, because it's like you're having a mother and then a father sleeping with the children in the same room for 2-bedded lah. But if you had been 4-bedded or 6-bedded, then my heart go out to you. I do understand you cannot make that arrangement. So I'm just coming back to that power struggle thing, that when I'm trying to find my role as a mom, it was super hard. And thank God my husband was understanding, and he also helped in the motherly aspect. And he's very good with bringing the children to school on time. And so, I must honor him by saying that he allows me to sleep in, and I only get up in time to go to work. So he actually tends to my 2 sons throughout the many years, 28 years of our marriage, not 28 like, because the son has grown up, maybe 20 years of the marriage, where he's the one that gives them the breakfast and take them to school. And he's an early bird and never late, whereas I'm always a just in time person. So my husband, did a good job with that. And yeah, my sons also love him for that, and I too. So the power struggle is where you have to step into your role, and also you start to realize that how come my wife need to go out and have fun with her lady friends, and compared with the husband who needs to have time off sometimes with his man friends? And it is also recognizing that although we are in a relationship for life, although we are married, but we are still individuals, having sometimes different passion, like yourself in public speaking like this, and myself having a passion to speak, and our partners in life having different passions. So if, let's say, your husband loves to play golf, I would say that is his time off.
Yes.
For him to find his own identity and his own time off. Yeah. And I think when you come back together, you are better off. Because I think, give him a chance to miss you. I say to some girlfriends, give your husband a chance to miss you. Don't be there all the time. Okay. Yeah. And what about the saying, absence make the heart grow fonder, right? Yeah. And then the other saying that's bad is that it slips my mind already. It's about the fact that if you're together most of the time, then it becomes a bit resentful. Yeah, because you rub each other the wrong way. In this pandemic, Joyce, I just want to quickly say that we are bound in close proximity in the home. So it is a struggle. Yeah. So I would say that my marriage went through a struggle, to be real. The last 18th of March, when lockdown was declared until today, when we have some ease, it is a struggle because you see each other every day. So this power struggle thing. Joyce, the last 4 signs of marriage, the awakening, I think I will touch on it here and there. Go ahead with your next question.
Sure. Because I'm looking at the time. I'm like, we have still a long way to go. I have a lot of questions to ask you, someone.
Okay.
One example, because a lot of time I saw people, they are married and they put it in the social media and they say, I'm married without 0.5 plus 0.5 equals to 1. They are trying to explain in a way of when they get married, it's like both of them come and then complete each other. I'm really curious, what is your take on that?
Well, I would like to quote Hollywood Jerry Maguire movie now. So Tom Cruise was in a movie, and I think the other actress is, I can't get her name now, but very famous line. Tom Cruise said to the star of the show, the lady, the actress, "You complete me." He said that, yeah. And I had a good laugh when I heard that. It's so romantic, and it's what we want to hear. Yes, Joyce, it's what we want to hear. Unfortunately, I don't think I can agree wholeheartedly to that, because I think 2 individuals have their own identity, their own passions, their own likings, their own dislikes. And when I was hitting my 50th milestone birthday, Yeah, and I want to plan my birthday party.
Yeah.
Having been married at that time, this is 25th, yeah, my 25 years of marriage then. I said to my husband this, I said, I'm going to plan my birthday party. If you don't mind, can you please just support my plans? And then he looked at me and he said, yes, he said very eagerly, yes, 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 yes. You know why, Joyce? Because he knows that if he plans something for me that's not up to my expectation, then he'll be in trouble. So what I'm trying to say is this, yeah, he's so happy that I'm willing to plan my own birthday party, and he's my support and help me carry it out and implement it. And it was such a fun time that we had. Yeah, I had two parties, Joyce. I had one afternoon tea with the lady friends, in the afternoon, and then I had one for the night with all the family friends and the
I
couples.
see.
Yeah, so that's what I had. Yeah, that's just me. I love to do things in a big way, and I enjoy partying sometimes,
Yes.
in the enjoyable way, because my job is serious. I need to have fun to live a long life. Don't you agree, Joyce? So, well,
Since we both like agree on like we need to complete ourselves first before we
that's
come
right.
together.
Thank you for rescuing me from the rabbit's hole. I've been going down to the rabbit's hole when I talk about my parties. You are right, Joyce. I don't really agree that you marry a person or a spouse to complete you. You need to find your own completeness deep down. I needed to find my own completeness. I need to complete myself full cycle before I can even meet my husband's needs.
Yes.
I feel
Oh,
that
true.
I am responsible. I think after the 10-year mark in my marriage, I decided, hey, if I wait for my husband to keep me happy, I'm in for a disappointment. And it's going to be a cycle where each time, in case he missed the mark, okay, he missed the mark, he's not there, okay, he tries his best, but he doesn't do it as how I would do it or what I would enjoy, okay, let's just say, I own up. This is confession time. I think I'm hard to please. Joyce. So I confess it. So I recognize that straight away, and then I said to myself, "Hey, you are actually putting a burden on your husband to please you. You cannot do that. You need to be happy on your own."
Yeah.
So when you say 0.5, a half and another half becomes a whole, I think that is Hollywood. I feel that we need to be the whole ourselves. And two wholes coming together is better,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a bigger whole. It's a bigger whole, a bigger world, so that you can help each other and you are not handicapped. Because when you have a half, you're actually missing the other half, right? And you're hoping that your spouse will have the half that you don't have. But sometimes he or she doesn't have the
Yes.
other half, and
Because they are half
and
empty as well. It's
and
also
also half empty, like the glass situation.
yeah.
So the expectancy is number one. It disappoints. I think Benjamin Franklin said, "Do not expect, then you won't be disappointed."
Yes.
Okay, so expectancy disappoints, yeah, a lot of times. And when you are disappointed again and again, then you may find a way out of the marriage or relationship because you feel, hey, this is not what I got married for. I said it to myself before, I said, this is what I got married for. I got married to a spouse who's supposed to love me, supposed to keep me happy, but he didn't do it. And maybe my husband feels the same. To be fair to him, yes, I'm sure he feels the same. He may have needs that I didn't meet. So that doesn't work out well. Whereas if you are able to meet your own need and be happy in your own self and right, in my situation or in my personal likings and hobbies, I do things which make my heart sing. So that's my cue. Yeah, that's my cue. I tell myself, Kim, what makes your heart sing? So one of the things that I love to do is what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Another thing that I love to do is actually singing and dancing. Yes, and yeah, I do a lot of that. And my husband do very little of that. And whenever I sing and dance, I'm happy. And when I'm happy and when I come together with my husband, he's also very happy and relieved to have a happy wife.
Yes.
And it takes the pressure off of him
Mm.
to keep me there, to keep me there. And on top of keeping us happy, our hormonal cycle is such that, why is it that I coined the title with you, Joyce? Marriage, crazy or complicated? Because sometimes I think some of the male gender calls the women gender a bit crazy because we go into our emotional state and moods.
Mm.
And the male will be thinking, what the heck is wrong with her? One moment she's happy, the other moment she's sad, another moment she's crying. Did you see the movie Eat, Pray, Love, Joyce?
Yes, this is
Okay.
such a great movie.
Did you know that that movie depicted what a woman went through in her emotional cycle and maybe even menopause?
Yeah.
Julia Roberts,
Yes.
she was crying. The husband was sleeping with her. They were newly married, right? And
Mm.
then in the middle of the night, she get up and then she was crying for
Mm.
no rhyme or reason. And she had a loss of identity in herself and she couldn't come out of it.
Mm.
So what she did was, I don't encourage this, okay? I don't encourage what Hollywood depicted, because what she did was she actually cut it away. And she went on a journey of finding herself.
Yes.
But what I felt the real life could be that she could be in the marriage still or in a relationship still
Mm.
and still find herself. I truly believe that because that's what I went through for 28 years. Yeah. Believe me, Joyce, I also felt sometimes that I want to pack my bags and take buy a no return what do you call that, one way ticket one way ticket to somewhere far away. I think sometimes I have said that to my family. I think I said it once. Yeah, in my really down time I've said it. Yeah, I'm not shy to say, to admit, that I've said such things to my family. Yes, we all have a bottom time when we are down and out, and then we say things and we want to do things to escape the reality, because the reality was too painful or too difficult to bear. And we think like Julia Roberts, that taking a flight to Bali and find ourselves, or and then she went on to Italy, she went on to Rome, and then she went on to India also.
Mm.
And she went through quite a few activities there to find herself. um, I felt that in my humble opinion, yeah, it's not wrong to take a break, yeah, but to me, taking too long a break actually caused the relationship to drift apart.
Mm.
And unfortunately, in the break situation, sometimes a third party comes in.
Mm.
Yeah. And there's this famous show I love to watch a rerun of it, Friends.
Friends.
Do you know Friends? Yeah,
Oh,
Friends. So, okay, for those of you who know Friends, this sitcom, I'm watching the rerun with my 15-year-old, so he learns about relationship too. In this show, the very famous is where Ross and Rachel had a break. They went on a break just for that one night. Okay, actually, it's supposed to be longer than that because Rachel felt her need was not met emotionally, and she asked Ross for a break. And Ross actually, unfortunately, it can also happen to a woman, Joyce. I'm
mm.
not saying it's only to a man. He actually had a one night stand with somebody
Mm.
during the break.
Mm.
And when I watched that sitcom, in my heart, I'm saying that, oh no, it's a mistake. It's not that he doesn't love Rachel in the Friends sitcom. They love each other. In fact, until the end, you can tell that the scriptwriter portrayed this couple as someone. This couple actually love each other. But while on the break, there
Mm.
was a third party interference. And when that happens,
Mm.
it's actually hard to continue on in a relationship. Of course, it can still continue with a lot of forgiveness and a lot of work. Yes, of course, because we all know that when there is adultery, either by the man or the woman, yeah,
Yeah.
I am very liberal today, Joyce. I hope you don't mind my liberalness. We are living in a postmodern society.
Yeah.
Women are as acceptable than men, as men. Okay,
Yes,
you
we
agree? Yeah, yeah,
more
yeah,
specifically
yeah,
into some situation. Let's
yeah,
say you met with a very stressful situation, all right?
yeah, yes.
And then like how both you and your husband cope with that stressful situation. Maybe you have some example to share with us.
Yes, okay. I will share an incident.
Yeah.
Say, during the pandemic, okay, when my husband and I say get into a fight, the way that a man handles a fight is they want to withdraw. They
Mm.
want to withdraw from the object that is accusing them or saying hateful things to them. That's what a man does. He withdraws into what is known as his cave. Because men last time they go out hunting, right? Okay, then they bring the animal back with the woman to cook, right? So for the men, their cave is their place of hideout or solace where they can regroup and they can, go through in their mind, analyze what went wrong. Why was she unhappy? Why did she shout at me? Something like that. Okay. On the other hand, on my part, I am a woman who has, most women got 2,000 words, Joyce. As a woman in the legal profession, I think I like to joke that I got 20,000 words.
You want to talk longer?
I want to talk longer. And I remember in the early time of our marriage, in the first 3 years of marriage, each time we fight, and before we go to sleep, he will go to sleep just like that. He will switch off just like that. And I am left in the lurch. I cannot sleep. And I'll be like messing around, put the mosquito coil. Last time our room had no aircon, 28 years of marriage, so not every room have aircon then. And then come to a point, after half an hour of messing around, and I still can't sleep. Of course, I'll take the pillow and bang him. He said, wake up. I still need to talk about this. I still need to resolve this. Because this issue is still on my heart. I cannot go to sleep if this issue is unresolved. And coming back to pandemic situation, when my husband wants to withdraw and he wants to step out of the house, okay, I give him that liberty. Sometimes he may need to take a drive, okay? He may need to get time off. Time off. Even children need time off, right?
Yeah.
So I give him the time off. But I would say not too long because I have no hard and fast rule of how long or 1 day or 2 days. I have no hard and fast rule. Okay, I think to each person is different. Some people take a longer time to get over things. Okay, I am the first to get angry usually. My temper is more volatile than my husband's, and I am like the share market. I shoot up very fast. Okay, but I come down very fast also. Okay, my husband is the very solid, stable character. He is very slow to anger, but when he's angered, he takes a long time. He's like the bearish movement in the stock market curve. I am the I'm the bull, up and down straight away. I'm very fast to be angry, forgive, and come back. And then I'm like, please forgive me, let's carry on. My husband is the bearish curve, the slow and steady, going up, going up, going up, going up. And it take a long time to come back. I had to learn patience and humility. Patience and humility to allow him the time off to come back, because sometimes it cannot be rushed. Yeah, but I also would like to caution all of you out there that don't take too long to come back together, because Hollywood has shown us when you take too long, sometimes there's third party interference. That means I'm talking about a third party coming into your relationship. And there are counseling done by certain centers, right, in Malaysia. And one of the stories is that there was one husband that was being counseled, and he loved his wife and his children very much, but he left the home because of struggles with the marriage. Even though they still love each other, he left the home, as a man, okay? And today he wants to come back, but unfortunately, he's already built another relationship outside. And this man was actually crying that he can't come back just like that, because now his heart is into two already. He's got someone else that is responsible for as well. So that is the Hollywood portrayal betrayal of Ross and the break that he and Rachel was on. So I would say that, Joyce, did I answer your question? I hope I did.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for allowing me to share that. Yeah. Real situations. Yeah.
Because you see our title, right? Marriage Crazy and Complicated. Let's jump into this crazy and complicated one. Because sometimes we as women, we do have our job, our own profession, and our own business.
Yes.
And then at the same time, we are juggling also the home.
Right.
For
the superwoman. Confession again.
Taking care of the kids, taking care every little things in our family, plus together, and also we earn our income. Last time when we have a grandparents or our parents' time, right? Normally it's the men that go out to earn a living and put food on the table, right? So a woman normally will be the one in the housewife setting. So right now we were going to have the different role as a woman. I'll combine the crazy and complicated question come together. It means that we need to juggling both sides, the work outside, professional, and our personal family things. At the same time, we also have our own income, right? Both dual income. So does this make the whole situations in a family setting, in a marriage, more crazy and more complicated?
Oh yes, it definitely does. You see, unlike my mom, I would use my own family example. My mom is a homemaker and my dad was the one making the income. And I started off with this coffee chat by telling you that I was in a family where my dad and my brother is like the strong alpha male. So they are in control of everything. Whatever they say goes, I remember watching TV with my brother and we 5 sisters were not there to say a word because he's watching the TV with us. Okay. Just to say how it was. Yeah, we respect a lot, And then today it's so different. Women are empowered because women go out to earn their salary and do their businesses and they have their own income. And that is empowering. And I would say that when I saw the list of court divorces, okay, it's a very bad statistic. I would tell you how bad it is. Let's say I look at the court list in one day, in 1 week, and in the High Court in Penang at Farquhar Street, we have 4 courts. Okay. If in the 4 courts, we have a list of divorce cases in the afternoon, okay, say there is, let's just say once a week, the judge allocate. So if there are maybe 10 cases for each court per week, then we're talking about 40 cases for each court per week.
Wow.
Yes. So do the math, Joyce.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. And for myself, even when I was in legal aid, I volunteered to help a non-profit at one time. And I was very sad to do a divorce for a couple that was quite aged. They were like, the wife was the one that instituted the divorce proceedings, and the husband was like 78 years old. And I'm like, wow, you've been married for so long and you are now calling it quits. Of course my heart go out to her and to him as well. Yeah. So sometimes the judge do question, if it's this kind of thing. And just to give you an idea, when I don't personally do divorce proceedings myself, because to tell you frankly, my heart cannot take it, and too much boxes of tissue for the client and the friend. So at one point when I had a male partner, he was helping me to do this divorce or matrimonial cases, even adoption and whatnot. And we were handling a few. And I do get to hear 2 sides of the story, both the men and the women, and the reasons for the divorce. What I wanted to say was that the reasons, a very common one that runs through the thread of cases that my partner handles and I see is, unfortunately, I'm not taking any sides here for the men and women out there, okay? I'm talking about facts, okay? The facts is that the women that files for the divorce, they are usually financially stable or financially empowered. So they have income of their own. And the other aspect is that the men in their life, the husbands, a lot of times may have issues with finance or whatever else. And then there is breakdown of communication, Joyce. And then when there's a breakdown of communication, the woman actually feels that she is shouldering everything. That's what you said just now, being a superwoman in this era. So we feel, okay, that we are shouldering everything. And then I have got this statement to me by one of my client friend. She said, Kim, I don't think I want to hang on to the marriage because why should I? I'm independent. I want to start afresh because it's not working. And then I said to her, I said, but your child is only 2 years old. And then this is what breaks the deal. I feel, Joyce, this is what breaks or makes the deal. This is what I would generalize it. There are exceptions to the rule. Of course, we are all unique creatures, okay? This lady said to me, she's quite young. She said, yes, I understand my child is 2 years old, but I feel that I can bring him up on my own because anyway, I felt that my husband is not playing the father role anyway. Because she feels that the husband is not meeting the child's needs anyway, and of course she has forgotten that he is still the father lah, because in her emotional state and all that. And then I try to make her see his good points. I said, but no matter what, how you feel, your child is 2 years old. How about you still maintain the ties with the father? I would encourage you to put down the divorce proceedings. The custody would be, you need to share the equal custody so that your son will still get a chance to visit with the father and not lose the father figure. Because I said this to her. I said, no matter how capable you are, you can never be his or her father. He or she still needs the father. So this is what I encourage. And in another situation, actually, to tell the truth, sometimes it's not good business for my firm now because I always discourage the divorce.
No business. People come here to give a business to you, end up it's like, oh, later on they get back together.
Reconciliation. Okay, there's one other case where the lady client, her two children are 9 and 10. And in her divorce proceedings, she wanted to give one child to the husband and she take one child. I straight away put my foot down. I said, no, you cannot do that. I'm sorry. But she said, Kim, I don't have enough. I don't have enough to bring up 2 children. I said, sorry to advise you this. If you don't have enough, I ask you to be patient. If there is no violence, okay, what I'm trying to say to this client friend is this. I said, if there's no abuse in the relationship, that means your husband is not violent towards you, okay? And there's no adultery, okay? There's no third party. Whatever irreconcilable differences, I do hope, and of course, as a Christian, I pray with her. I said that maybe you would consider a few more years because your child is too tender. 9 and 10, don't break them up. I said, the rejection of one of the child that you left with your husband, I think is irreparable, Joyce. So I said to this client friend, I said, don't do it. And I thank God she didn't do it, Joyce. She hang on for a few more years. Yeah, she hang on for a few more years. Yeah. I won't tell the ending, okay? Keep you all in suspense. Okay.
All right.
So
we have a lot of painful story that just now you share. Let's shift gear a little bit.
Yeah.
Go to more fun and crazy, fulfilling as well. I know.
Right.
I remember you shared with me quite some times ago about what you do throughout these years, especially during this pandemic time, how to keep the spark with your husband. So share with us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I do get very creative, and if I'm not very creative and I get stuck, I Google. So you can ask Google anything. My sons tell me, my 23-year-old said, Mom, don't you dare ask me certain questions. You can Google and find out. I said, please, for goodness sake, let me ask because I'm not in your era. So you can Google, okay? For those of you who are in my era, you can ask Google anything. If Google fails you, then like me, you can ask God as well. So God and Google is a formidable team to ask for creative ways to keep your marriage alive and well. So during the pandemic, so I live in a condo. So we had date nights on the balcony. And I have a 15-year-old son with me. And then my son and I will cook, okay? And then my son will have his own dinner. And then my husband and I will eat dinner on the balcony. So it gives us a chance to connect. And I think that's very important for women. Most of the time, we crave intimacy. For the men out there, for your male audience out there, Joyce, I hope they're listening. This is a tip, huh? This is a tip from a 28-year-old married woman, okay? Women crave intimacy, we create connection. We want to know that we matter in your life. And we want to feel special also once in a while. Yeah. So the 4 stages of marriage, yeah, I'll bring that up now, Joyce. Romance, okay, where we walk on air for those who just joined. And roses are red, violets are blue, and all those stuff, where flowers are the in thing. Yeah. I would say this. It's not how many roses that you give. Even one stalk, I tell my husband, even one stalk from the market, it only costs you 150. Okay. So no need to splurge on a dozen roses for 150 ringgit. No need. 150 from the market already can touch your girlfriend's heart. Okay. Or your wife's heart. All right. And you can always write a note. In our courting days, my husband used to used to take a calendar, the calendar stand, and then he used to find lyrics from a song. And then, of course, not the sad love song, the romantic love song. So our song is actually Let It Be Me, a very old song from I think it's Brothers Four, I think the singers. Those in my era will know. Okay, if you don't know, ask your father, your mother. So that's what he used to do. And then in the pandemic, I said to him, hey, you've forgotten to do that calendar for me already. You should do that calendar. And then he gave me one look, So I said, yeah, I still treasure that. And listen to this. At one point, my husband loved to get me plastic flowers. Okay, don't laugh, ladies. Don't laugh out there. I was laughing myself, okay? I was always giggling whenever you give me that, because that is actually not very romantic, you want to smell the real life roses, correct?
Yeah.
But my husband is a practical man like you, Joyce. Look at your flowers there. Look at the flowers behind Joyce. She's got plastic flowers too.
Yes.
I have them too. I have my plastic flowers too. Why? Fabric flowers too. Why? Why do you think my husband give me these plastic flowers or fabric flowers? His answer is this, it's permanent. This is the permanent love. It lasts forever. I said, yeah, you're right. It does. It does last forever.
Yeah, it's right.
So I said, yeah, you're right. He's right. It does forever. And when I started doing online events, this is where I tell my husband, hey, you are very clever to buy fake flowers, right? Go and buy me a bouquet of fake flowers so that I can make my home office look nicer for the online events. And that's what he got me.
Oh,
that's what he got me from the florist. These are the fabric flowers.
I see.
So he did evolve from one plastic rose to become this, So and today I don't mind, because being a more practical older lady, I also like the fact that this stays permanent. Okay. Now, Joyce, I just want to touch on something. I got my husband's permission to speak about this.
Yeah.
I want to say to everybody out there, it's not necessary to splurge to make your other half feel special. And I myself, actually, 15 years ago, we went through a financial crisis. So we are also frugal and careful with how we spend money. Okay. We recovered from it slowly but surely. Yeah, with God's help, we really give thanks to God. Yes. And at the end of the day, it's how you want to make the person feel. And really, if the woman feels better and her self-esteem is elevated, well, I must qualify. Today, if there is a house husband out there that we're dealing with, okay, and it is the woman that is the better, she's the breadwinner, or she brings in more money, okay, you also can elevate your husband's self-esteem. Yeah, if he likes certain things, like maybe a book that is his topic of, like my husband loves football, you could also get him a book on football, on something. Or I also set up a Facebook page for my husband to blog about his football hobby. Yeah. I was his stenographer. I said, come here. I said, come, please sit down, my dear. Sit down. Okay. I said, I try not to put on my God voice, must put on the voice of the loving wife. Okay, must put on the voice of the loving wife. Yeah. And the girlfriend that he had when he courted me 28 years ago. Come sit down. right. So you like football? Okay. So I said, let me help you set up a Facebook page. And then I was a stenographer. And I said, just talk about what you like about your hobby, and I will set up the page, and I will, type it all. And I think for my husband, that's an act of service, which is his love language that he appreciates. So don't have to get him the fake flower. He doesn't want that, right? So he wants someone to support him. And then women out there, women friends out there, I think for men, they have different, they feel differently than us. They sometimes don't need the love aspect. They need the respect instead.
Yes.
Yeah. I was once told to do this. I was once told to make my husband feel like a hero. And then my husband was told to help me feel like a princess or a queen. Yeah. So that gives you perspective, right? It's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. The men have a different way of affirmation than us. Yeah, so that's the fun aspect, Joyce. And
Oh, so lovely.
yeah,
You have a
yeah,
Facebook page somewhere. Okay, can go visit.
yeah.
If you want to check on the football page that's set up by
Yeah, yeah.
for
Liverpool is my husband's group, and they've got a good win lately.
I see.
They had a good win lately. Yeah, 5-0 against MU. So MU fans out there, take heart. Yeah, you will win soon. soon. Yeah.
Right. We are really, really over our time, Kim.
Okay.
We spent like an hour for that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for all your real life examples.
It's been so fun.
I love all your sharing, and definitely I would also love to ask if, let's say, audience would love to connect with you, where they can go to search for
Yes.
connect
So
with
I have a personal, my passion website, which is www. Yeah, that's right. www.kimkhoo2020.com. Yeah. So my passion is to help people transform their lives, whether it be in relationship or be in marriage, or whether it is a woman wanting empowerment, or someone to walk alongside you when you're going through certain stuff, and you like some guidance. Yeah, I am. I'm not. I'm doing this as a passion. So there's no cost involved. Okay, I'm doing this as my I just put it as my God-given passion. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Joyce, for this opportunity. I've been doing quite a number of these with other ladies, and Joyce also, thank you for inviting me. Are we going to go into Zoom now, or?
not yet. I have one more question to ask you before
Oh, okay.
Facebook Live, right?
Yeah.
What is your any words of inspiration that you would love to pass to the audience right now?
Okay. I think my last words would be this. Be the change that you wish for in your partner. So if you wish your partner to change in a certain way to meet your needs, so I encourage you to be the change that you want to see in your partner. And if you think about it carefully, you are mirroring to him or her, and he or she will be able to see the change. And my husband did say to me that I changed a lot over the 28 years, and I also see the changes in him. Yeah, it's very encouraging when we change to want to meet the other person's needs. Yeah, to complement each other, not to compete. Yeah, because I mentioned, for those who just came, who joined late, I actually went through 4 sciences or 4 stages of a relationship or marriage, which is firstly romance. Secondly, it's the
Disillusion.
disillusionment, where you're disillusioned, you suddenly see all the faults in the person. And then the third cycle is the power struggle, where you're trying to struggle and find out who has the power in the relationship, what is the role of each other. And then the fourth one, which I will quickly recap now, the awakening. So I say to you out there, if you've been married for 10 years, take heart. There will be a time where you will be going through the stages until the point where my son said to me this, Joyce. He says that my teacher is married for 50 years, Mom. You're doing this talk with Joyce. Huh? My teacher's been married for 50 years, Mom, or 40 over years. And very loving towards each other, the husband and wife. My son tells me. So take heart. Those couples that go past the third stage and to the fourth stage, the awakening. It is in the awakening stage where you find that you have your own identity in the marriage. you do your own things, you give each other space to do your own things, and then you come together like on date nights to meet each other's needs. And as I also want to say, Joy's question to me was that half and half makes a whole, and we disagree. I disagree with Hollywood's half and half makes a whole. We both sort of come to the conclusion that it is a whole and makes a better whole. Yeah, as in WHOLE. We need to be whole inside first before we can be in the relationship, and the relationship can be even better and thrive. Yeah. Instead of trying to expect the other side, the other spouse or the partner to be your other half to make you better. So I disagree with the better half thing. Yeah. So we need to be happy ourselves first. Yeah.
So important to know this, especially for those people that not yet get into the marriage. So they get to know this first. It's like a eye-opening thing, because me and my boyfriend, before we actually start our relationship, he always remind me about this. You have to complete yourself first.
Very wise. Very wise.
Together. So it's a whole person plus a whole person before we can be together. So that's why, like, I learned so much already before we actually start our relationship. I said, yes, let me continue my journey a little bit. But after that, we get it together. I tell you, that relationship, you will feel so fulfilling. Even though I don't experience like what Kim you experienced, the 4 stages yet, but it's so much different when you get to know this fact, right? Exactly. Thank you so much, Kim. And okay, for those in Zoom, we're going to have a chat later on. Yes, for those in Facebook, tell us, me and Kim would love to hear from you. What is the aha moment? That one is the one thing that you learned the most from Kim today. Thank you
Joyce,
so much.
Of course, Joyce, you too. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend. Enjoy your time. Bye.